Hey, what's up guys? Beef Brodie here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to show you guys some of my favorite metrics to look at within the Facebook Ads Manager so that I can gauge whether my campaigns are doing well or not. And I want to show you guys how to set yours up so that you can look at some of the same ones. So let's get into it. Okay, so it's super important to understand which metrics make the most sense for you to be looking at so that you can actually gauge whether your campaigns are doing well or not. So I want to kind of talk you guys through some of these and why I look at some of the ones I do and why I look at it in the certain order so that it makes the most sense for me. And I will show you guys how to set these up so that you can make it make sense for you as well. Now I've got my Ads Manager open here, so I'm going to show you the back end of mine and we'll go through some of that. Feel free to pause this video along the way if I move a little too quickly or if you're trying to take notes or follow along on your computer. Let's get into it. Okay, so you'll see the order of the metrics that I have set up here. And the first one is link clicks, and then you've got CPC or cost per click, and then you've got results, website purchases, amount spent, website purchase conversion value, cost per purchase, cost per result, ROAS or return on ad spend, got the budget, the frequency, a relevance score, reach. And the reason I have these set up in a specific order, some of them are I kind of group them together. So first thing I look at is link clicks, cost per click, and then quickly see out of an ad set which ad in particular has the most volume and then how much each one of those clicks is costing me. Now Facebook is going to optimize if you have, in this case, there's 6 ads within this ad set. It's going to optimize for the one that's performing best based on the objective that you have set in place. So in this case, it's for add to cart. And that's the result is the next one that you're gonna see, and that's gonna show us how many add to carts we've had from each one of these campaigns individually. So as you start to kind of skim across from left to right, I can see this one had the most clicks, and this is what they cost. This is how many results I've gotten, add to carts along the way. The next one I look at is website purchases. So I kind of group those first 3 together in a quick visualization, and I can compare them from one another. So then I look at purchases. I'm like, okay, this one, for example, has had the most volume for the cheapest cost. It's got the most add to carts, and it has the most website purchases. The next thing I want to look at is how much have I spent on that so far. So that's the next column, is how much we've spent, and this particular one is $170. And then I want to know, if I spent 170 bucks, how much did I make? And it's generated $1,000 in revenue, as you can see here. And then you get a calculation, essentially. The cost per purchase is a calculation. It takes the number of purchases you've had divided by the amount you've spent, and you get the calculation of each purchase cost you $11.37. And based on what you're selling and based on what your business is and profit margins and all that kind of stuff, you'll know better than anybody what a good cost per purchase is. So for us, $11 is great, but if you sell something that's a $10 item or a $20 item, $11 may not be so great. So you have to consider how much profit you're making in your one purchase to know whether $11 is good for you or not, or if you need to be at $2, or if you could be as high as $200 or $2,000 depending on what you're selling. Cost per result is similar to results, but this is going to be how much does each add to cart cost me. Again, I kind of group these together. So now I'm looking at the cost per result. So it's, each add to cart is costing me $2.27, which means every 4 or 5 add to carts, I'm getting a purchase, which I think is pretty dang good. And then a return on ad spend as an X factor. This is the X factor you guys always hear about, which it's, I'm getting 5X, 10X, 6X, 3X, 20X on my ads. This is that number, the return on ad spend. So, and this is a calculation, it's a multiplier. So you take $170.57 times 6.42, and you would get this $1,094 here. So this is just kind of a quick visualization of what the equation is. And then the next column is the budget, and you can see here that these each had a $1,400 budget. I was playing around in a new feature that's available to me that I'm beta testing. So this whole campaign was experiment, and thankfully it did well. This is perfectly profitable for us as a little experiment. So you'll see the budget there, and then frequency. Now, frequency is a huge thing for you to be paying attention to. That's going to tell you how many times a person has seen your ad over the course of this campaign. And when your frequency is low like this, in the ones, you can increase that budget and know that you're not maximizing that audience. When the frequency starts to be 2, 3, 4, 5, you know that you're hitting everybody in that. And even if the results are good for you, be careful scaling it, because if you end up spending more money and increasing your budget, it means that the same people are just going to be seeing it over and over. You're saturating that audience, and you could even scale it down potentially. This is something you'll have to test for yourself, but potentially scaling it down, saving yourself a little bit of money, getting a better return on ad spend, because you're not just hitting the same people too many times. Now, there's been cases where I've gotten frequencies in 11s and 12s, and it has worked out very well for me. So you'll have to experiment with it. You'll have to do some testing and learning to know what's a good time frame and what a good frequency is. In different parts of the funnel will be different. So lower funnel stuff, higher intent, where there's a smaller audience, it's very easy to get a 6 or 10 or 12 frequency with a very small budget. So keep that in mind. Top of funnel stuff, we have huge millions and millions of people in an audience. Your frequencies are probably going to stick around the 1 to 3 range, depending on how much you're spending. And then the relevance score is something to keep in mind. This goes on a scale of 1 to 10. Anything around a 7 is good. 8s and 9s are great. 10 is very, very hard to achieve, but it is possible. So relevance score, if you think about that like engagement rate, it means it's like, how relevant is it to the people you're displaying it to? Are they interacting with it? Are they engaging with it? Are they clicking it? Facebook will kind of gauge that and give you a relevance score to say, hey, this is super relevant or this isn't. So keep that in mind. And then reach. This is a good one to understand, because if you know the audience size when you set your Facebook ads up, and you know that it's 1 million people or 2,000 people or whatever, you can see how many people this ad has reached to know if you have saturated that audience or not. So that's why I look at these particular metrics in this order. Now I want to show you guys how you can set it up and look at some of the same ones amongst many others if you choose to. So over here in your ads manager, there's this drop down menu that says columns. And there's a lot of presets set up in here so that depending on what you're optimizing for, like if you want to look at just video engagement, it'll show you the metrics on video. How many people are watching 3 seconds of a video? How many people are watching 25%, 50%, 75%, 95% of the video? It'll start to break down the metrics on just video engagement if you're running a video ad. Same with some of these other things depending on your objective. Now what we want to do is go to customize columns down here at the bottom, and it's going to pop open this window. If you want, you can go ahead and delete and X out all of these metrics that are populated in the right side of your window here, and then you can start to go through and search for them just like I have them here. So you search delivery, you'll click the box for delivery, click link clicks, and go on down the list. I'll leave this up on the screen for a second so you guys can see them here, and add them to your own custom columns list. And then you can change the order of these two, so you can click and drag, move them around as you desire, and go through the list. I mean, as you can see here, I'll give you guys another second to kind of look at this, screenshot it, do whatever you want so that you can get some of that stuff. But you can see the metrics here in the center as you start to scroll down, depending on what you're trying to look at. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of different metrics that you could be looking at. And then when you're done, you can just click Save as Preset. You can name it whatever you want, and then you can also set that as a default. Guys, there's tons of metrics for you to be looking at in here, so I wanted to quickly go over the ones that I look at that make the most sense for me, that give me an easy, quick overview of what's performing well and what's not. This is the same metrics I look at the campaign level. When I look at every single one of my campaigns, I look at the totals across, and I can gauge very quickly on ROAS or how much I'm spending if I know what my monthly budget is to make sure I'm on track and that the return on ad spend is there. And then I look at frequencies on certain ones and know if, hey, is there room for me to scale this up? Do I need to turn it down? What the case is there. So that's the reason I look at these metrics. I hope that this is helpful to you, and a little slower paced, Make sure that you guys really have a good understanding. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below, and I'm super happy to help. You can also shoot me an email to beav@beavbrodie.com, and I will do my best to answer all of those. If you like this video and you want to see more stuff like this, I would appreciate it if you let me know that as well, and I will do my best to do that. So that's it. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.